Hello, good evening, students. To introduce myself, this is CA-FINAL. I am also a CFA charter holder from the US CFA Institute, and I am proud to clarify. I'm proud to announce that I'm one among the top 10 of the global performers. Right, just this is an introduction class about how our teaching methodology. So, what is the uniqueness in our teaching? I can't say uniqueness. You say best of our teaching. Okay. So this is the first point. These are some of the methodologies we'll use our teaching and our teaching approach. So first we'll give more importance on thinking rather than computing. Be clear now, we have to think more rather than computing. The reason is very obvious. So we are living in a computerized world where every calculations part is taken care of by the computer. As a human being, as a human expert, our task lies in interpreting the output given by the computer. In our academics, the irony is that in our academics, we are spending more time on computing the values. But in reality, all the values, all our correlation, whatever the stuff you said, all our calculations will be done by the computer itself. So therefore, in reality, our job profile consists in interpreting the output, not rather than computing the values. So therefore, keeping in mind the reality, since we are living in a computerized world, so where the computers will taken care of all the calculations, will give more importance to thinking. So how will you interpret the output? How you will interpret the output? So we'll give more importance to the thinking rather than computing. It's very simple. Okay. Otherwise, you'll be jobless. So otherwise, you'll be unemployed. A person who cannot do what the computer cannot do is of no use. A person who cannot do what the computer cannot do, so is of no use. So computers know how to calculate. Human experts should know how to interpret the output. Look at what is the basic difference between the academics and the reality. In the academics, inputs will be given and we have to compute the output. We have to compute the output. Most of the times, our academic problems are ending at computing the output. So this is what is the academics. What is happening by the academics? Inputs, they will be given the question and we are computing the answers. But in reality, we have to give the inputs to the computer and computers will calculate the output and we have to interpret the output. That means two tasks of deriving the inputs and interpreting the output. Two core tasks of the real life is missing in the academics. Two core tasks of real life is missing in the academics. What are the two core tasks? Deriving the inputs and interpretation of outputs. The second task of computing, that is taken care of by the computer. But in academics, we are missing that. That is what the gap we would like to bridge upon. Okay. Right. So therefore, in my class, I give more importance to thinking rather than computing. Okay, that is the first way. That is the first important principle we will follow. We will keep in mind the reality, and we'll ask the students to give more work to their mind rather than to their calculator. Don't give more work to your hands and to the calculator. Give more work to your mind. Okay, so if you are sitting 2 hours in a class, how much time you are spending for thinking and how much time you are spending for arithmetical calculations of addition, multiplication, subtraction, how much time your mind is dwelled into, how much time your mind is completely involved in calculations, and how much time your mind is involved in interpreting the output. That is what we'll do in our class. Next, so training the mind to be conscious and sensible of the things. So whatever the data we are seeing, is it sensible? Is it sensible? Say for example, most of the students are of the view that hedging means avoiding the risks, avoiding the losses. To avoid the losses, we'll do the hedging. To avoid the losses, we'll do the hedging. No. So to avoid the gains also, we'll do the hedging. Sometimes we'll do the hedging to avoid the gains. There are a couple of problems in the syllabus where I am holding a long stock. I am holding a position. I am holding the stocks and I'm expecting that the stock prices will rise. Right. So in that case, I'm going for the hedge. Why? If you are already holding the stock and if you are expecting that the stock price will go up, then obviously you are getting gain, but you are going for the hedging. So people are blindly using that. If I am having a long position, I have to go the short. Long, if I am holding the existing long position, I have to go hedging to another short. But you are not sensible enough that no, I am holding the long position. I am expecting the gains. I am expecting the stock prices move up. Therefore, I am expecting the gains, but still I am avoiding the gains. That is what is called as hedging. Therefore, if you are holding the stock, and if you are expecting the stock prices to go up and still you are going for the hedging, that means you are avoiding the losses. Are you conscious of that? Are you conscious of what we are doing? That is the first point. Okay, but like that, so whatever the data we are seeing, whatever we are doing in the problem, are you conscious of what's going on in the problem? What's happening in the problem? Are you focusing too much on the numbers and micromanaging the problem? Or are you aware of overall broad way what is happening there? Okay, so therefore we'll give more importance to the story rather than to the numbers in the story. Okay, what is the overall story there? Okay, overall story, we are avoiding the gains. Now, it's not that I'm taking a long position, therefore I'm going for the short. There's a blind way of doing. Existing long position and the hedging position is short. That's a blind way of solving the problem unconsciously. That is one way. Okay. So therefore, so we are asking, we'll train the students to be conscious. Every problem, be conscious of overall what's happening and be sensible for the data. If any one problem gives you that you are getting a 30-35% return, is it possible in reality you'll get that much of return? Is it possible in reality you'll get that much of return? If somewhere, if you are using the problems where you are using both investment rate and deposit rate is same, that may not be correct. Our borrowing rate is different and our deposit rate is different. But in most of the problems, we are doing the same. We are doing the calculations assuming that our borrowing rate and our deposit rate both are same. Risk-free rate of interest. Our borrowing rate and deposit rate both are not same. So are you sensible? Are you sensible? That means what? The summary is that we will train you to know the limitations of our syllabus. We will train you to know the limitations of the quantitative models we are using. Okay, there are lot many limitations of the quantitative models which we are using. I'll show you that. I'll show you in the next video. I'll show you with the important points in the ICA study material, and I'll explain the importance of reading the ICA study material. And once you read the ICA study material, you will be stunned of the major things. You don't know, you will be stunned of looking at the most important things. Okay, so that I'll come into the next video with the examples where the people are not conscious, where the people are blindly doing, and what are the hard truths and what is the reality. What is the reality? That I'll show in the next lecture. In this lecture, I just want to give an overview of what is the fundamental principles which I follow in my teaching. Right. Next, I'll give preference to the logical than the formula. So I'll first compute the answer without using the formula. Without using the formula, I'll compute the problem. So always the logic first, the formula next. Nobody will frame the formula without the logic. First, there will be a logic. But as a matter of saving the time, we are using the formulas. Okay, ma. So therefore, while learning the subject, we should not use the formulas. While learning the subject, we have to learn the subject, solve the problem using the logic. But in the examination, given the time constraints, you may not be able to spend too much time on thinking about the logic from the roots. From the roots or from the very beginning, you can't think about the logic. You don't have sufficient time in the exam. So therefore, for the time saving purpose, to make the job simple, to save the time, we are using the formulas. So therefore, follow the formulas in the exam. But in my classroom, whatever the problem I am teaching, no doubt, the same problem I'll be teaching you twice. Every problem I'll be teaching you twice. First, I'll teach you logically so that we'll get the answer. After getting the answer, reversely we'll go with the answer and we'll get the formula. Okay, I'm not using the formula to get the answer. I am using the answer to get the formula. Come and listen to our couple of classes. You'll understand. First, we'll use the formula. We'll get the answer. We'll use the answer to derive the formula. Okay, man. So therefore, we'll give more importance to the logical thinking and sometimes unstructured thinking. Okay. So the major drawback today is that we are habituated for structural thinking, but in real life, the world is completely imperfect. The world is completely imperfect and you have to think unstructured manner. You have to think in an unstructured manner. Okay, that is the reason. So therefore, sometimes we'll use unstructured manner, most especially in Forex, foreign exchange management. So in foreign exchange management chapter, I will not use the terminology called as direct quote and indirect quote. That is our unique way of teaching the foreign exchange. We will not use the word called as direct quote and indirect quote. Simply we'll use unstructured learning. So what is the product I am buying? What is the price of that product? Okay, numerator is the price and denominator is the product. That's it. As simple as that. Numerator is the price and denominator is the product. Okay, so whether I am buying the product or I am selling the product. If I am buying the product, I have to go for the call option. If I am selling the product, I have to go for the put option. As simple as that. So therefore, denominator will use more importance to the denominator. Nowhere in our lectures will use something called as direct quote and indirect quote. In my entire foreign exchange classes, you can see nowhere I use the word called as direct quote and indirect quote. Purely logical. What is the product I'm getting? We feel no difference between going to the market and purchasing the vegetables and going to the foreign exchange market and purchasing the foreign currency. No difference in that. In both the cases, we are paying the price what we have and we are getting the commodity what we don't have. As simple as that. In vegetables market, we are paying the price what we have and we are getting the commodity what we have. So therefore, we don't show you any difference between the commodities market and the foreign exchange market. Okay. So that is the reason, if you observe, the syllabus is structured in such a manner that first derivatives is there, then foreign exchange. Foreign exchange is not a separate chapter. There are different types of derivatives called as financial derivatives, commodity derivatives, and currency derivatives. So therefore, the concept of derivatives is same. How you solve the 8th chapter of derivatives using the shares or commodities, the same manner you can solve the foreign exchange problem. So therefore, without solving the derivatives, will not solve the foreign exchange chapter. So one of my unique thing is that I'll teach in the same sequence as given in the ICA study material, because the syllabus is structured in somewhat logical manner. I can't directly pick the foreign exchange chapter. To make the class interesting, to make first chapter interesting and exciting, directly I cannot dump to the foreign exchange chapter. Okay, ma? We have a lot of respect to the CA Institute, and we give undue regard to the CA Institute experts who have framed the syllabus. Therefore, we'll follow the same syllabus as given in the ICA study material. Same sequence. Okay, ma? So unstructured thinking, sometimes logical, sometimes unstructured thinking. We want logical, illiterate person. Unstructured thinking in the sense, sometimes you have to think like an illiterate person. Simplify the things. Don't complicate the things. Common sense will try to complicate the simplify the complicated things. Sometimes mathematical models will try to complicate the simple things. Sometimes common sense will try to simplify the complicated things, whereas mathematical models, all our technical jargon, statistical jargon, they will complicate the simple things. Making sense out of nonsense. Making sense out of nonsense. We'll avoid that. We'll keep the things as simple as that. Okay, greatest things in the world are simplest ones. We'll follow that principle. Next, one of the point is that we don't teach stock market in the class. So we don't teach stock market in the class. The reason is that stock market is highly risky, and the students at your stage, there is a hard chances of attracting towards the stock market. If you spend too much time on the stock market in the class, whatever is required for the syllabus slightly will touch upon it. It's not that completely will ignore it, slightly will touch upon it. So whatever, to understand what is there in the syllabus, slightly, very slightly, minutely will touch the stock market. And we strongly encourage the students, don't invest in the stock market as of now. As a student level, don't put your hard-earned money, articleship money in the stock market. Okay. After qualifying, after getting into the job, after knowing the economy and every business, at least for 1 year, then enter into the stock market. Okay. Stock market is not bad, but stock market is bad for unknown people. Bad for lack of knowledge people, and half knowledge is more dangerous than no knowledge. Okay, so you are not matured enough. I am strongly advising the students, to whoever is attending my SFM classes, I'm strongly advising that you are not matured enough to handle the complicated things in the stock market. You are not matured enough to face that risk. Don't put your hard-earned money of articleship stipend or your parents sending the pocket money. Don't put in that. So go to the, just first focus on qualifying the exam. Don't not even watch the stock market. Whatever I am teaching in the class to the extent required for the syllabus, that's it. Close the thing there itself. After completion of the class, don't go to any stock market website, any stock exchange website. You will be very much attractive. Stock market is very attractive. People will get easily attracted to that, but it's very risky. Unless until you are matured enough to handle the stock market, it is very risky. So after qualifying, spend 1 year time to understanding the business, understand how the pharma business works, understand how the FMCG business works, understand how automobile business works, understand what is the state of the Indian economy, what is the state of the US economy, what is the relationship between various countries. After spending some time on that, at least for 1 year, then put your money in the stock market. Then you are put your money in the stock market. Therefore, we strongly discourage the students to invest in the stock market at this stage. So if you are already from a family background who are investing in the stock market, okay. But normally I am saying that majority of the cases, if you are new to the stock market, as a student level, it is not advisable to invest in the stock market. I am strongly advising, if it is required to understand what is given in the syllabus, I'll show you in the classroom. After the completion of class, don't go to any stock market website. Don't try to repeat the things. No, you will get attracted. So youngsters are very vulnerable. So they will quickly attract to something very exciting. They'll quickly attract to something exciting. Therefore, whatever is required for the understanding the syllabus, I'll show you in this class slightly that you have to end there itself. You have to end there itself. After completion of the class, don't open any stock market. Don't watch any stock price movement. Okay, it will be very attractive. If you hear voluntarily, if you hear something, don't ignore it. Keep in mind and come to our class, we'll discuss it. Okay, so whatever if you hear voluntarily, I'm not discouraging you to ignore that. Maybe some truth in that. keep in mind, but don't research on that. You'll be misleading. You'll get misleading. Okay. Therefore, come to our class. We'll guide you. Okay. Don't open the stock market. It's very, very dangerous. Next and last, finally, whatever we are saying is that there is no sampling error for our class. For our class, there is no sampling error. What is meant by sampling error? It is not that I am good at one chapter, one problem, and I'll make that one problem as a video, an attractive video in the YouTube, and ask the students to come and join based on that video. Okay, no sampling error. You select any chapter, any topic, any problem. We'll give an explanation. If you are satisfied with that, then come to our class. No sampling error. It is not that we are very good at only one chapter and we ignore the rest of the chapters. No. So it is not that I spend 1 day or 1 week on one problem. I'll research that on that problem and only make the video on that problem in the YouTube and attracting. No, it's not like that. No sampling error. In our classes, no sampling error. We are now whatever the top, you select the topic. You select the topic. Any topic, any problem. You select it, come to us and we'll explain the logic. We'll explain the logic and whatever the points we are there, how to think about the problem, whether the problem makes sensible or not, how to logically think, etc. Everything will show you. Everything will show you. So take your problem, any concept, any chapter, whether it is theory or problematic, any chapter, any problem, you bring that, we'll explain that, then we can join. So the way we teach our first chapter, similarly we'll teach all the 14 chapters also. Okay, there is no sampling error. We don't pick the foreign exchange chapter first to make the class interesting and exciting. We'll go with the same syllabus as given in the ICA study material. So maybe first 3 chapters are completely theory, corporate finance, risk management, and security analysis, purely theory. Right, the first chapter, the way you are satisfied with the first chapter, the same satisfaction you can carry on to till the end of the chapter. So therefore, for our classes, no sampling error. You select any topic, any chapter. We will give an explanation to the topic. If you are satisfied, then come to our class. Okay, ma? See you, ma. Bye.